Today we're going to go over how to kind of properly clean some of your mobile tech devices that you might have. So the first thing we're looking at here is a group of phones. And for most of your tech devices that you want to kind of clean and sterilize, I recommend using Clorox wipes. That's kind of the easiest, safest way to clean most of your mobile tech devices. So the devices I have here are a Pixel 3 XL, an original Pixel 1, and an iPhone 6. So the Pixel 3 XL has an IP rating of IP, it's either 67 or 68. But as long as your device has an IP rating of IP 67 or up, you're pretty much good to use even soap and water if you need to, but we'll go over that in a second because there are some caveats. So the reason I use Clorox wipes is just because they're low liquid intensive, so you're not dumping a bunch of water and stuff on your devices. And it'll work kind of across anything, and it'll kind of kill any of the bacteria that's on your phone. So you can see even with the phones that don't have some water resistance or any tech product that doesn't, it's pretty much okay to use Clorox wipes as long as you're smart about it. So the first thing to note is make sure the Clorox wipe is not too soaked when you pull it out of the container. If it is, kind of wring it out. That way it's kind of what you would normally have, and it's not, soaking and dripping in Clorox. And then you can go ahead and just wipe down any phone that you have. And you'll see, and then just let them sit for a second because you want the Clorox to go and kill all those germs and do its job. And so, see, we'll do the phones here first. And you'll see they'll kind of dry in a few seconds here like normal. But you kind of see we might have some some Clorox left over, and we kind of want to go wipe that off. You can just wipe that off with a paper towel, or, if you have a microfiber cloth or anything like that, you can just go ahead and then wipe the excess liquid off the device itself. And you can see it looks a little better here. Still turns on and everything and turns off. We'll do the same with the other two. So there you go. These are perfectly clean now. We've killed about pretty much anything on them. If you want, you can let the Clorox soak a little longer on the devices if you want to. But that's basically how you do the phones if you want to clean them off with a Clorox wipe. Now, you want to be careful if any of your phones have cracks in the screen or on the back or anything like that. Avoid the cracked areas. Give a pretty wide distance even when just using a Clorox wipe, because you don't want any liquid getting into the actual phone through those cracks or anything like that. So that's how you can clean the phones with a Clorox wipe. You can also do that for many other tech products. Like I have a smartwatch here. I can go ahead and use the Clorox wipe on to clean it off if I want to, and it'll be just fine. If you have something like a switch, you can see I even have it on. You can go ahead and wipe that down, especially the screen and the controller parts, and it'll be okay. Even with these big vents and stuff at the top, it'll be just fine. If you want to go ahead and just do that to make sure you kill everything on it. And then again, you can go ahead and get any excess Clorox off if you want to with a paper towel or something like that. That way it's not sitting on there too long, but again, won't really matter for these devices. And Clorox can leave some streaks and stuff depending what the material is made out of, but it'll just come off if you rub it down with a paper towel or rag. And then you can do that with, if you have a tablet or anything like that, you can go ahead and do the same thing. Like here I have a Pixel Slate that I can go ahead and do that with. Again, I can use the Clorox wipe. And you can see I've still used just the same Clorox wipe for all these devices, and it still has stuff on it, so it's still going to go ahead and get it clean. But you can go ahead and use more than one if you want to, but be a little conservative. And then, you can leave it on a little longer than that, but then just go ahead and wipe it down with something, or else you'll kind of get, might not be able to see too well on the camera, but you'll get some streaks on the screen from the extra liquid. So just wipe it down carefully with a paper towel or rag. Now, if you don't have access to Clorox wipes, which is a thing that's happening these days, you can use soap and water on specific devices. Okay, so the only device I kind of showed you that you should probably use soap and water on, or the only two, are my smartwatch and the Pixel 3. And I know I can use soap and water on these, a little bit of soap and water on these, because they both have a high water resistance rating. Again, look up your phone online, make sure it's an IP67 or higher. And even then, be a little wary. But if you want, you can use soap and water to clean off these devices as long as there's no damage to them. So even if you have a device that's highly water resistant, if there's a crack in the screen or the back or anything like that, water can seep in those cracks and ruin your device. So make sure you don't have any of those. But I just have a damp paper towel here with a little bit of just soap, and I can go ahead and kind of give it a rub down with it. I can kind of get some of the stuff off here. And you can see it's a little soapy, little watery. And then you can just take another wet paper towel and, kind of get that soap off. Or for me, I just have a Tupperware container because I know my phone is highly water resistant and there's no damage. I can just kind of put it in the water here and rinse it off. And then use a paper towel to immediately dry it off. If you're using water, you want to immediately dry off the phone just to make sure nothing seeps in where it's not supposed to. So you can see still turns on, still turns off, just fine. Just do be wary if you do this, there's now water in the charging port. So give it a few hours for the charging port to dry on its own. And then you can go ahead and plug it in to charge it up. And don't blow in the charging port or anything like that to get the water out. That'll just send the water through the little seal in the charging port into the phone and then damage the phone. So you will have to wait for it to kind of air dry on its own. So those are the easy ways to clean your devices. Again, Clorox wipes, definitely the way to go if you can get to, if you have some or, something very similar. Again, make sure it's not like soaked in Clorox, kind of wring it out a little bit first and go ahead and wipe down and clean kind of the tech devices you want to do. Again, make sure there's no significant cracks in the screens or anything, especially if you have a water resistant phone and you're going to try to use soap and water to clean it off. Again, I used a little bit of soap and a little bit of water to clean it, not a whole lot, and then I immediately dried it off and it'll be just fine. So as long as you keep those things in mind, you should be fine cleaning off these devices. Hopefully that helps.